Wisdom Within. I am Lara Jaye, Executive Spiritual Advisor, Intuitive Guide, and someone deeply interested in the intersection between emotional healing, nervous system wisdom, grounded spirituality, and real life. Today, I want to talk about something I think many people quietly experience, but rarely say out loud. And that is why someone can be successful externally and still feel emotionally disconnected internally. Not because they're ungrateful, not because they've failed in any way, or because their life is objectively bad, but because achievement and emotional fulfillment are not the same thing. And many people were taught to pursue one while unconsciously abandoning the other. I work with a lot of thoughtful, intelligent, deeply capable people who have built businesses, careers, families, incredible reputations, lives that look so successful from the outside looking in. And yet privately, many of them tell me some version of the exact same thing. I don't understand why I still feel so miserable. I should be happier than this. I've accomplished what I worked for. So why does it still feel like something is missing? Why do I feel so emotionally disconnected from my own life? And honestly, I think this is becoming increasingly more and more common because many people learned how to achieve long before they learned how to actually feel connected to themselves. Our generations, the generations before us, this was not important. Self-awareness was not important. Being connected to yourselves was not important. What was important was pushing through, go, 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 work, work, work at no matter the expense. And one of the things we don't talk about enough is that success is not always built from alignment. Sometimes it's built from adaptation, from proving, from the survival, from trying to finally feel like I am enough, from trying to create safety, control, approval, security, significance, value. That is why we wanted to be successful on the outside. And again, we can create absolutely beautiful results, especially you high capacity individuals listening today. But when achievement becomes emotionally tied to worthiness, people often disconnect from themselves without realizing it. They become highly functional externally, while internally operating from chronic pressure, emotional suppression, that hyper responsibility or nervous system overdrive. And eventually, the body starts asking questions the mind can no longer override. Questions like, do I even enjoy my life? Do I even enjoy what I do anymore? What actually matters to me now? Why do I feel disconnected even when everything looks fine? Who am I outside of performing, producing, fixing, or achieving? These are the questions many are asking themselves. A lot of successful people are not emotionally empty because they lack gratitude. They are empty because they have spent years overriding themselves, overriding exhaustion, overriding emotions, intuition, relationships, rest, overriding their body, and eventually emotional numbness develops. Not as a failure, protection. Because when people stay in performance mode long enough, the nervous system prioritizes function over feeling. You become quite efficient, very capable, very reliable, incredibly high performing, and disconnected. Disconnected from joy, disconnected from softness, presence, disconnected from your actual emotional experience. Many people don't realize this until life slows down or until success finally arrives and it doesn't create the emotional fulfillment that you expected. So achievement can create stimulation, incredible validation, momentum, temporary relief, beautiful external rewards. But the nervous system is looking for something deeper than achievement. It wants safety. It wants connection. It wants meaning and belonging and regulation and authenticity. It also wants emotional congruence. And if those things are missing internally, no amount of external success fully resolves the emptiness. That is why some people keep endlessly chasing the next thing, the next goal, the next milestone, the next relationship or business expansion. Because unconsciously, they're hoping achievement will finally create the internal feeling they've been searching for. But emotional fulfillment is not created through constant expansion. It's created through reconnection. A lot of high-functioning people are terrified of slowing down long enough to feel what's underneath all this movement. Because once the noise quiets, grief often surfaces. Exhaustion comes to the surface, loneliness, disconnection, and piles of unprocessed emotions surface. Sometimes people realize, I built an entire life around functioning, but I don't actually feel connected to myself. That realization can feel incredibly vulnerable, especially for people who are admired for being so strong or successful or productive. But I also think this is where and when real healing can begin. Not when people become less successful, but when success is no longer being used to replace that connection to yourself. At a certain point, the work shifts. It becomes less about constant achievement and more about emotional aliveness. Can you actually experience your life while you're living it? Can you feel connected while succeeding? Can you experience rest without guilt or love without performing? Can you be present without constantly optimizing yourself? Because real fulfillment is not just external accomplishment, it's internal congruence. It's when your body, your emotions, your values, relationships, and external life are no longer moving in completely different directions. And this is where grounded spirituality becomes incredibly powerful, not as an escape or performance or as pretending to be endlessly high vibe, but as a return to presence, truth, embodiment, emotional honesty. And most importantly, with yourself and that connection back to yourself, to what actually matters. So if you have been in a season where life looks successful externally, but internally something feels emotionally flat, maybe disconnected, or unsatisfying, I want you to know this. This feeling, it's not failure, it's awareness. Awareness that achievement alone cannot nourish parts of you that need connection, that need rest, meaning, emotional safety, and presence. And while that realization can feel quite uncomfortable, it can also become the beginning of a much more honest life. It can become a life where success and emotional wholeness no longer have to exist separately. And if this episode resonated with you today, you can explore my private intensive mentorship or join us for monthly Soul Sanctuary gatherings. See the links in the show notes or go to larajay.com. And now we're going to move into our energetic clearing today. Our intention is to reconnect the body back to emotional presence, internal fullness, and grounded self-connection. We want to soften achievement-based pressure. We want to release the belief that worthiness must constantly be earned, and we want to create space for genuine aliveness to return. So I invite you to close your eyes, take a deep breath in, blow out. Do that one more time. Just be aware of your body. Kaliondo jalateatare le monte lo cariete di yoto jele plicore le mola cola poshekleanga. Ondo de la blabrin di kore corabioto na la criende di din. Condo de la bredi undo jele plagli le mucan. Leoto jele talombriando kaliki jele di umbo carabioto la brianda coleba corianda. Kiundo de bioto jele la cliade and the yanga. Ondo de la caliclianda di ingaleti in the diaca. Condu do de glicliambo crabicale beacon, ziondu jiliblabringa le caliclianda. Condo de beoto de la caliclianda di, co ondele bliblicle patipicale corbish letiama. Andon, corai beondon, kiosoliblibudele mocaliaca. Ze ondo jilibilu col mioto le pico caleca yeshelembong. Eondo kaleka yokole beshele la kalea cariende di kale kasha kopam. Leondo de la palacliambo kale di shele plecorie ka yokole de yanga. Eondo kiusole buon. Lecode de colecon daringa kung kieto se yamon koka inga ingo shele tua kalekarianda de ka kolechakwa. Back to body awareness. And when you're ready, open your eyes and have a fantastic rest of your week.